Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good wherever you are. Um, I hope everything's good at your end. So, guys, we've just seen Gervonta Davis push Rolly Romero off the stage in a quite bizarre weigh-in. To be honest with you, I thought there'd be a bit more fireworks when they were actually face to face. Firstly, both guys look good. They made weight. Rolly is obviously quite a big dude. He made the weight and he looked good. He looked good. He's ripped. He's been looking good. He looks like a bodybuilder, looking massive, ripped, jacked. He's obviously worked hard for it and got himself in great condition. But we all know that body don't win fights. We all know that skills pay the bills, not your body, not the way you look aesthetically on the scales. It's how you look inside the ring. It's the skill set you have. And we obviously know that who's the superior fighter out there too. But yeah, I thought it was a bit weird from Tank. It was almost a brawl broke out. And I think the most, I think it was not a wise thing to do. I think it was instinct. I think Rolly Romero went in front of him and he started to flex. And I think Gervonta probably felt he was in getting into his personal space. And I think Davis just gave him a little nudge and he went off stage. And, he could have hurt his ankle. He could have hurt himself badly. That could have turned out nasty. And then Rolly Romero got back on stage and basically, they were about to go off. The two teams got into it a little bit. There was a bit of bit of pushing, a bit of handbags. Nothing really kicked off major. But yeah, I thought it was, I thought Gervonta Davis there was not great. That was not great from Davis. Rolly could have got really hurt there. I don't think it was a smart thing to do by any stretch. If Rolly got hurt, the fight gets cancelled. And also Rolly Romero maybe injured. Maybe he did go and hurt his ankle because his trainer was making excuses. Also, you give someone chances to make excuses. Oh, my ankle was hurt. He pushed me off stage, and stuff. I just didn't think Gervonta Davis needed to do that. But I'm not very excited for the fight because I expect there to be one winner, and that's Gervonta Davis. I expect Gervonta Davis to wipe Rolando Romero out. But I still think it's a very, very good fight. And I think it's going to be interesting. I do. I think it's going to be very interesting. In my opinion, I think it's going to be an interesting fight. I think it's going to be a fight where Rolando Romero is going to try to come out and swing and not the greatest technique. And I think Gervonta Davis is going to avoid him early on and then just wipe him out in about 3 or 4 rounds. I think he's going to hit him with something and then I think Rolando Romero is going to get taken out. I just think Gervonta Davis is just much better than him across the board. I think he's a better boxer. I think he's better defensively. I think he's a sharper puncher. I think he's the more accurate. I think he's got the better boxing IQ. I think Rolando Romero is going to get wiped out here and wiped out pretty badly. I'd be shocked if Rolando Romero pulls anything off or even makes this competitive because I don't think they're in the same kind of. I don't think they're in the same kind of league, to be honest with you. I think Gervonta Davis will wipe him out and wipe him out pretty sharp. I just think Gervonta Davis has to be wary early on when Rolly's sharp and Rolly's looking to throw those bombs. I think he has to be on his A game. But to be honest with you, Rolly Romero, to be honest, I don't wish bad on any fighter. I wish all fighters all the luck. And maybe there's a lot of people that actually want Rolly to win. But yeah, Rolly just gets under my skin, if I'm honest with you. I think I've never kind of forgiven him. Some of the stuff that he says just doesn't sit down well with me. He made some comments about Khan a while back, that didn't sit well with me, especially when you're a guy that hasn't achieved anything in the game and then you're going off on guys and calling them glass chins and stuff, guys that have achieved a lot more than you in the game. That doesn't sit too well with me. I don't really like disrespectful people, and he comes across a bit disrespectful, to be honest with you. I think he can be a bit disrespectful. I think some of the stuff that he says, and look, it sells pay-per-views and people like it, and it does sell. Look, this pay-per-view is probably going to sell, but I don't warm to that guy, to be honest with you. I don't really find some of the stuff that he says funny. I think he comes across pretty young in the sense that, someone was saying the other day that he's he's a young kid. He sounds like a young kid rather than actually a fighter. And he does sound young. Some of the stuff he comes out with, I don't know whether I don't think there's any method. He's just saying some of the stuff, to be honest. I don't really find him humorous or funny. I just find him pretty irritating. So that's just me. Some people may like him, but I think in terms of skill set, I think there's no comparison between the two. I think Gervonta Davis is the much superior. I think he's the superior fighter out of the two, and I think Gervonta Davis will do a number on him, and I think he'll do a quick job on him. To be honest with you, I don't think this guy's in his class. I think Rolando will have to land something big to knock him out. But Gervonta Davis has got a pretty good chin. Gervonta Davis is a pretty good all-round fighter all across the board. There isn't many weaknesses in Gervonta Davis. Yeah, at times he can be outboxed, but this isn't a fighter that's going to outbox him. This is not a fighter at any, that's going to outbox, Gervonta Davis. He's going to go in there and look to knock Gervonta out, which I actually think is going to play into Gervonta's hand because Gervonta's got the better skills. He's smaller. People call him Mini Mike Tyson. And yeah, he's a really good fighter. Gervonta Davis is an excellent fighter. And I don't think Rolando Romero, some people say he's a C level, D level. But again, look, it's an opportunity for someone like Rolando Romero to make a name for himself. I just don't think he's in Tank's class. I think Tank's different gravy, and I don't think he's in his class. I generally don't think he's in his class, and I think Tank will get him out of there, in my opinion. Probably maybe 5 rounds, 4 rounds, 6 rounds. 4 to 6. I think he gets him out of there. I just think that these two are not in the same kind of class and category, and really, I think if there wasn't all this trash talking and this wouldn't be a big fight, it would be seen as a cherry pick. But because of the fact that Rolly does a lot of talking and he can obviously sell a fight, it makes this fight interesting from that sense. From a promotional standpoint, it's a very easily sellable fight. But in terms of actually the credibility, I'm not sure this fight is going to be that competitive. I think it may be one-sided, and it might be a one-sided whooping in the favor of Gervonta Davis, where Gervonta just does what he wants and then eventually wears him down, takes him out. I don't think Rolly Romero has the skill set to compete with Gervonta Davis. His trainer's obviously doing a lot of talking as well. We're putting Gervonta to sleep. We're putting this, that, and the other. But again, I think it was Jim Gray that was actually being asked about it, and Jim Gray said, Rolly talks a lot. Gervonta fights a lot. And I think that's how I really see this fight, where there's one guy that's really good at the promotional side and he talks and he can talk and talk and talk. And to be honest, I don't really find him that amusing, to be honest with you. I don't really find... Because, here's the thing. A lot of those guys that used to talk and talk and talk, a lot of them can fight, right? Rolly Romero might be one of those guys. Even when people comparing him to Ricardo Mayorga can fight. Ricardo Mayorga was tough as nails and he could punch and he could take a punch, and he's a proper fighting man. I don't know whether Rolly Romero is that guy. Is Rolly Romero even a Ricardo Mayorga? I don't think he is. Or he's not proven at this point to be. His level of opposition has been very poor. And I know it was one fight, I think it was against Martinez or something, Martinez, and he got a gift decision in that one against that guy, or Gutierrez, or I don't know who it was. But yeah, he got a gift decision in that one. They was lucky to even get a decision in that. So, his resume is not the greatest. And he, like I said, in one of the fights, a lot of people thought that he lost. So yeah, I think this is a pretty comfortable fight for Gervonta Davis. But moving on to another topic that I wanted to... Guys, you know what? Someone's asked me about the Canelo Golovkin. How do I see that fight going? And does Canelo knock Golovkin out? Probably not. Probably not, in my opinion. I don't think Canelo... I think it would be a great statement for Canelo to knock out Golovkin. But... Someone was saying, Imran, how do you think that Golovkin moving up to 168 is going to make a difference to him? He's a career 160-pounder. Is it going to make much of a difference? My response to that is no, it's not good. I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. It's 8 pounds. Golovkin is old, and I think Golovkin probably walks around more than 168 pounds. All it'll mean is he'll have to cut less. I don't think what difference is it going to make to Golovkin moving to 168? Is his power going to be less? Is he going to? He actually gives him probably a better chance because he's going to be a little heavier. He's going to be a little stronger. You know, he's going to be putting some muscle on. He's going to be doing some strength training, and he's a power puncher. So I actually think, remember, he's not fighting a fully fledged 168. He's not fighting Benavidez. He's fighting a guy that's really he's bigger than really. So I don't see how Golovkin moving up to 168 is going to... People say make him slow. And Golovkin's not fast, hugely fast anyway. And Golovkin, he's going to hit... He hits hard. So he's going to hit even harder, in my opinion. He's going to have more strength behind him. He's going to have more muscle. And I just think it'll probably benefit him. I think the fact that he won't have to cut weight, the fact that he won't have to diet, and because I do think 160 isn't easy for Golovkin. You know, people say, oh, well, he's a career. Yeah. But as you get older, it gets harder. I know he's been making it for a very long time, which obviously shows he's 40 years of age. If he was struggling at the weight, he probably would have moved up by now. So he obviously doesn't struggle. But I think fighting at 168 isn't gonna impact him that much. I don't think it's gonna make much difference. 168, 160, I actually think it's good for Golovkin, you know. And listen, why does Golovkin have to come in at... If Golovkin's not a 168, why does Golovkin have to come in at 168? Golovkin come in at 164 and come out 165. Why does it matter what weight he comes in? He's still going to rehydrate to what he rehydrates to. Do you know what I mean? If Golovkin feels it's going to be a disadvantage for him to make 168, then he can easily come in at 164, 165. It's irrelevant. He doesn't need to come in at 168. You know, he doesn't have to come in at what the weight limit is. He could come in at whatever he wants below that. You know, because as long as he's not over it, if he's below it, it doesn't matter what weight. As long as he's, I think you can come in as low as you want, really, below 168. Is there a limit that you have to go over? So even if he comes in at 163, 164, which obviously he's not going to want to give Canelo too much of a weight advantage. But like I said, it's not going to make much difference because on fight night, Golovkin's going to rehydrate to what he normally rehydrates to. I don't think... It's not like if Canelo is 10 pounds heavier or 15 pounds heavier, Golovkin's got a granite chin. It's not going to make a huge amount of difference. This is why I'm saying, like, I don't think it makes much of a difference. 160, 168 for me, especially when you're fighting another guy that's your size, potentially smaller than you. So, yeah, I don't think it makes much difference. Golovkin coming at 168... 160, I think Golovkin's going to be Golovkin. I think going to 168 may have more benefits than it has negatives for him, in my opinion. I'd never understood why Golovkin never moved up to 168. So actually now, if Golovkin actually looks good, and just say he loses another close split decision, you could probably make a case for Golovkin moving up to 168. He probably won't want to because he's still a unified champion at 160. And who knows, he might go back down. If Golovkin loses a close decision, he might go back down and look to unify and think, you know what, I just fought Canelo. I might as well look to unify. And this is what I'm trying to say. It all depends on how Golovkin looks. But I think Golovkin might look good at 168. I actually think the move up in weight will actually benefit him, not be a disadvantage to him. That's my opinion. I've always felt that the Golovkin should have moved up to 168. I think I always wanted to see Golovkin move up and fight some of the 168 pounders because I thought he could have cleaned up at 160. I thought he could have beaten majority of 168 because he was that good. I do, and I feel like he missed a trick by not going up because there was many fights at 168 that would have been big fights for him. Carl Froch, Andre Ward, you know, even the likes of George Groves and James DeGale may have been bigger fights than what he was getting at 160. This is what I'm trying to say. Like, those fights would have been massive for Golovkin compared to what he was fighting. He was fighting guys like Matthew Macklin and Ruby. Like, you know, they didn't even have the profile that guys like James DeGale or George Groves had. So this is what I mean. Like, there was many fights. Even guys like, for example, he could have fought someone like Bute, you know, who I believe he beat as an amateur. You know, these are big fights that he could have had at 168. So I feel like he missed the trick, really, for me, not moving up to 168. I think there was fights there that could have been pretty big that he essentially just waited for the Canelo fight, which was kind of bizarre. But yeah, leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Do you think Canelo Alvarez will knock out Golovkin? Leave your thoughts and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.